The office was empty and silent. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting an eerie glow over the rows of cubicles. It had been hours since the last employee left for the day. As I walked through the deserted space, my footsteps echoed off the walls. I felt a shiver run down my spine as I approached my own desk. My computer screen was still on, displaying the familiar login page. But something seemed different. The cursor blinked with an otherworldly intensity, as if it were waiting for me. I tried to shake off the feeling of unease and began to tidy up my workspace. As I sorted through papers and files, I noticed a piece of paper on my desk that was not there before. It had a single sentence scrawled in red ink, "You're not alone." My heart skipped a beat as I wondered who could have written it. I tried to leave the office, but the door seemed stuck. The elevator wasn't working either. Panic began to set in as I realized that I was trapped. And then, I heard my own voice whispering back at me from the cubicles around me, "You're not alone." It was a soft, raspy whisper, and it sent shivers down my spine. Suddenly, the lights flickered and died, plunging the office into darkness. In that moment of terror, I knew I wasn't alone in the office after all. As I walked into the office building for my last day of work, I couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. It was as if the very walls were watching me, their empty cubicles like skeletal fingers reaching out to snatch at my ankles. I had been warned not to come back after hours, that it wasn't safe. But I just wanted one last look around, to make sure everything was in order before I left for good. The fluorescent lights above flickered and hummed, casting eerie shadows on the walls as I made my way deeper into the building. As I reached the top floor, where my desk sat empty but still bearing the faint scent of stale coffee, a chill ran down my spine. It was then that I noticed something odd. Every single computer screen in the office had been turned off, and yet, the screensaver images remained on display. A company logo here, a motivational quote there. But one image stood out above all others, a photo of me. I felt a cold sweat break out across my forehead as I realized that someone must have been watching me, following me even after I had left the office for good. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, everything went black. When I came to, I was alone in the darkened building once more, but this time, there were no screensavers on my computer screen. Only a single message, "You'll never leave." As I walked into the office building on that fateful Friday evening, I couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. It was as if something had been left behind in this once bustling workplace. The fluorescent lights above flickered weakly, casting eerie shadows on the walls. I approached my desk, now empty except for a single piece of paper with a note scrawled across it, "The last one to leave." I felt a chill run down my spine as I realized that someone had been here before me. But who? And why? As I began to search the office, I stumbled upon a series of cryptic messages and notes left behind by previous employees. They spoke of an unrelenting sense of dread, a feeling that something was watching them from the shadows. The words seemed to whisper my name, drawing me deeper into the heart of the building. I finally found myself standing in front of the elevator, which had been locked for what felt like hours. But as I pressed the button to call it back down, I noticed something peculiar: a small note attached to the control panel with a single sentence, "You're not going anywhere." The lights above seemed to flicker once more, and then everything went black.